Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Daly. Here. Trustee Headland.
Here.
Trustee Clements.
Here.
Trustee McNall.
Here.
And Trustee Valentine. Dr. Benante, will you join me at the podium for some swearing in?
Just read it aloud.
Yes, please.
I, Philip Benante, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the Superintendent of the Haldane Central School District according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Now I'll do mine. I, Catherine Platt, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of District Clerk of the Haldane Central School District according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Catherine.
John, if you could.
I, John Headland, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Haldane Board of Education Trustee according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. And can you sign him?
Let me take a picture with my camera, John. It's right here.
Trustee Valentine?
I, Mary Valentine, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Haldane Board of Education Trustee according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations and welcome. Can you sign him, please? Okay, I'd now like to request a nomination for the President of the Board of Education. Would someone like to nominate someone for President?
Absolutely. I'm going to nominate Jen Daly.
Yes.
Just because, I'll opine for a moment or two. Just because as much as Dr. Benante and the administration helped get the school through the past year, Jen helped get the board through the past year. And I think we are not necessarily privy to all the machinations that she went through, but she was phenomenal. And I cannot imagine even doing it, perhaps anybody else. I certainly might not myself, so.
I cannot help myself but second that and also say that you provided great mentorship in these first couple of years, and I feel like you lead from within as a peer, which is an extraordinary ability and one that I admire, and I look forward to serving with you as our president.
Will you accept the nomination?
Let me think about it. Yes, of course.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks for the vote of approval and confidence.
Okay, and can we swear you in?
Yes, please. Oh, you're so good. You've been changing them. You're so smart. I, Jennifer Daly, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Haldane Board of Education President according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, and can you sign the book?
Sorry.
Did you miss me for a second, Phil?
Presence was missed, Jen.
All right, where are we? Okay, I'd like to call for a nomination for vice president. I'd actually like to make a nomination myself for vice president. I'd like to nominate Sean McNall to become vice president. It has been an honor to work with you, and I think you would be excellent in the vice president role and stepping into leadership. So I would like to nominate Sean McNall.
I'll second that emotion.
Great.
Will
Thank
you-
you so much. And I accept
Oh,
the
fantastic.
nomination. And I look forward to working along with you to learn more about the responsibilities. And don't be surprised, John, if I come knocking at your door on occasion.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay.
Swear, Sean.
I, Sean McNall, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the Haldane Board of Education Vice President according to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Okay, I'll turn it over to you, Catherine, for the next appointments.
Should I do that, be it resolved?
Yeah, the recommended action, right?
Sure. Be it resolved that the Board of Education appoints the following officers of the Board of Education effective July 1st, 2020 through to the July 2021 annual reorganization meeting at the stipends noted. District Clerk Catherine Platt, $11,625 with an additional $1,000 to be added if a second referendum is scheduled in any school year. Clerk Pro Tem Andinio, $500. District Treasurer Andinio, $8,000. Tax Collector Jesse DeMarais, $5,125. Claims Auditor Melissa Harris, $2,358.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Just a quick question. Should the dates be? Okay.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. I'm so sorry.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion besides the dates? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, the team is all set. Very exciting.
There we go.
Okay, the next Board of Education business meeting will be held on August 24th at 7 p.m. That's for sure, but we might have another quick one next week to finalize a couple of details, but definitely on August 24th. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Benante to update us on the federal
Thank you,
stimulus
Jen.
funds.
Thank you, and welcome. Just a few brief comments before the federal stimulus funding allocations. We had a wonderful end of the school year. Welcome to a new school year. But I just want to acknowledge the work that went into providing our students with their respective moving up ceremonies and graduation late last month. Special thanks to our principals, our administrators who were involved in that, our maintenance and operations staff, and our parents and families who came together to provide such wonderful support for our kids as they celebrated the close of the school year together. I had the opportunity to speak to several families at each event, many of whom expressed just great appreciation for the fact that their kids were able to have such an experience and such a great school year. As you can see upon entering the school building this evening, or as you would have seen, we're busily preparing for next school year. There's a lot of work going on. In addition to the regular cleaning and maintenance schedule, we're also completing several projects related to the 2019 referendum, notably the window replacement at the elementary school. So it's good to see that work continue to progress. Last week, our administrators began their planning for the upcoming school year, and I'd like to thank our building and district leaders for their time over those 2 days. We were over at the Taconic Outdoor Education Center, who are always such great hosts for us and for our teachers whenever we have the opportunity to make use of their space. So, as the board's aware, we are scheduled to receive approximately $280,000 in federal funding as part of 2 related funding streams. And our initial plans as it relates to the use of these funds, in part, is to maintain one of our interventionists who we had put in place at the beginning of the school year through at least next school year. We don't have a fully developed plan on how to utilize the balance of those funds. We would benefit from having some additional time to consider how we're going to use those funds. But at least for now, we felt that the use of the interventionist was helpful to our students and to their families, and that we still anticipate a level of need going into next school year. And even if all of our students are back physically in school next school year, we still would benefit from having additional intervention support at the elementary school. So at least for now, in the development of our initial plan, which was due by July 1, that seemed to be a good support to remain in place through the upcoming school year. That being said, we'll continue to evaluate our needs and to see that if there's any additional needs that present, or just through our having more time and the benefit of planning, that we could utilize or direct the balance of those funds towards. I did provide an initial overview of the use of those funds to our community. I did receive a little feedback. Obviously, the timing is towards the end of the year. I know many of our families are very busy, but I did hear from a few people in one of our supporting organizations. The few folks who I heard from in the community, I would say their feedback centered more on our ability to expand air conditioning or increase the number of air-conditioned spaces that we had in the school. In speaking with Tim, this particular level of funding wouldn't necessarily allow us to do much by way of increased air-conditioned spaces in our schools. So we'll put that aside. I think that is something that will come up this school year, and there's some other ideas we have on how to address that. I did receive an overview from our Learning Differences Committee on some thoughts and ideas of how these funds could be directed. Some of these are matters that I've discussed in the past with the Learning Differences Committee. Some of their feedback also included a notation about increasing air-conditioned spaces. So again, I spoke to that. But I would say the feedback was helpful and something for us to consider, if not in the use of these federal funds, but also as we're developing a budget for the following school year when we get into budget development process. So sometimes I'm glad we have a level of funding through these federal stimulus packages. It's not enough to address all programmatic areas that we would identify as having a need, but it at least gives us an opportunity to begin to think about how we want to direct the funding and then perhaps consider how we want to expand our program in other areas in the future. So for tonight, assuming there's no further discussion among the board on or questions from the board, I did recommend the creation, or we have included on the agenda, a recommendation to create an elementary school position and then also to appoint one of our interventionists to that position who had been serving in that role through this past school year. Yes.
So I think I'm remembering this correctly, but, so you said the initial plan for how to use the funds is due on July 1st, but my memory is that the funds, we didn't have to decide everything now.
No.
We can decide it over time.
Correct.
I thought that might be helpful.
We have until September of 2023 to continue to develop plans or adjust our initial plan in utilizing these funds.
Great, thank you.
And these are one time, right?
Yes.
Okay. So creating an ongoing position would
Correct.
revert to our budget at some point. So.
Correct.
And I'm not going to remember, but the two interventionists were K to 2 and then 3 to 5?
Oh, yes. So between the two of them, they were primarily servicing students kindergarten through third grade.
Okay. And do you have, it may be early, but do you have any sense what the responsibilities, like how are you going to deploy this person?
Sure. So it is still early
Yeah.
for that. I would, at the beginning of the school year, we go through a benchmarking process, an assessment process with our students to begin to assess their level of readiness coming into the school year. There is some anticipated regression that we see through the summer months just from students not being in school each day. Based on those assessments, we would then utilize the interventionists to provide additional support in the area of reading and mathematics. Obviously, we have Ms. Saunders, who already provides a level of support in those areas, so between the two of them, and Ms. Jamin, they would determine where the support could best be provided. I'd like to note that we've struggled to provide a level of mathematics support for some time. Ms. Saunders does her best, but given the needs of students in reading, and then she's able to address some of the needs in mathematics for intervention. That's why we saw that we would benefit from having another interventionist, if you will, right away, because we know that we felt we could do better in providing mathematics support. That being said, this individual could provide both math and reading support.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Is it the same teacher, same person employed last school year?
Yes, Ms. Pastula, yeah.
Great,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Okay, is there any communication from the public at this time? No? All right, so the information reports are here for review. And we're going into consent agenda minutes. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
These are the minutes from our June 15th meeting. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Committee minutes, you'll see these are, they're a little late to us. We just overlooked having them here on the agenda. So these are from December of 2020. So if anyone wants to backfill their technology committee minutes, they are there. Consent agenda financial. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second, please?
Second? Sorry.
All those in, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor? Aye.
Actually, I have a question. Probably should have asked it. It's not on this. It's more of a timing question. Remind me, when do we get the full close on the year books? It's not for a while, right?
Go ahead.
October, okay. Yes, a while. Okay, thank you.
Consent agenda personnel. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
There's a lot here. Is there any questions, discussion? You'll see the lots of contract addendums. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unfinished business. So this is the policy review. The first reading was last meeting. And I will turn it to Catherine to lead us through.
Be it resolved that, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby adopts the Haldane Central School District Policy Manual.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second? Oh, sorry. We should take a second. This is,
Moving this, geez.
Any discussion? Very exciting.
yes.
Drum roll. All those in favor?
Aye.
Woo. That's been a long time coming.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Okay, CSE, CPSE recommendations. Ms. Platt.
Be it resolved that, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby approves the recommendation of the Committee on Preschool Special Education and Committee on Special Education as presented.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Not sure if the people at home can hear the thunder that we're all hearing in here, but woo. Okay. The meeting and workshop dates for the coming year, Ms. Platt?
Sure, we approved the actual meeting dates during the consent agenda, but we do have one meeting that we need to change for holiday reasons. So be it resolved that, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby approves the following change to the date for their meeting as follows. September 7th, 2021 business meeting will be moved to Tuesday, September 14th, 2021, due to the Rosh Hashanah holiday.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, impartial hearing officers?
Be it resolved that, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby approves the following. Resolved that the Board of Education does hereby delegate to the President and Vice President of the Board authority to appoint impartial hearing officers from the rotational list of impartial hearing officers, and be it further resolved that the Board of Education be notified of any such appointments as soon as practicable after such has been made.
May I have a motion, please? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, renewing the audit committee charge, so we'll do that first, and then we'll talk about the representatives to the committee. Go ahead, Ms. Potter.
Be it resolved that, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby reauthorizes the Audit Committee in charge as presented for 2021-2022.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, so now we will appoint a couple of members to the, serve on the committee. So I'll have Ms. Platt open it up, and then during discussion, we can figure it out.
I
Go
did
ahead.
it last year. I'm happy to do it again.
Yeah,
It was-
okay. Let me have,
What do I need to do? I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
be it resolved that, so you can open up, and then during discussion, we can figure it out.
Oh, okay,
So,
sure.
Never mind, I take it back.
Be it resolved that, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby appoints two of its members to serve on the Haldane Audit Committee for 2021-2022.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, any discussion? Who has some thoughts? What
I'm
would you like
happy to do it again if you need somebody to do it again. It was
Okay,
fun. It was great. It's actually
Okay.
very interesting.
so John is volunteering. Would anybody else like to serve on the audit committee?
Again, I did last year as well, and I found it useful and informative. I know that when I first started, I think it was Margaret suggested it would be a good idea for new board members, if they so choose, that it's a useful experience to go through the audit process. That being said, I'm happy to do it. That's not me saying you should do it, Maggie. That's me saying that it was suggested as a good
It
idea.
is often recommended, but, I think as long as you do it at some point,
Yeah,
some committees, I feel like we don't end up serving on ever because there's
Right.
just a lot of options. But
yes.
the audit committee is one that I feel like everybody rotates at some point because
Right.
you're right, it is kind of this crucial information for us
Yeah.
to have.
I thought about that as well, but I actually think it's better after a year on the board. I think it's a complex committee, like the first few meetings and reading the report. Maggie, not
Yeah.
that I don't think you're intellectually capable of it, I'm sure you are. But I remember personally being somewhat overwhelmed by it. And I think having even just a year of reading the financial statements and meeting with Ann and really understanding how the board's finances work could be a really nice base before someone does that. my thinking. So
So
I
it
like
sounds-
the idea of John and Sean doing it.
It sounds to me like John and Sean are happy to redo it.
I'm
Yes?
happy to do it.
And
Sure.
everybody's okay with that? All
Yes.
right.
Thank you.
So John and Sean will continue. All in favor? Aye. Great, thanks, guys. Go ahead, Ms. Platt. I can't even read this whole thing to tell you that you're doing it. Board policies and bylaws. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. This is the one we're going to strike from the agenda. Thank you for pausing. So this is on our agenda, but it is, unfortunately, we posted the incorrect board policy to be reviewed. We posted the one from 2016 instead of the most current one. So we would like to pause on this one for tonight and hopefully get another meeting on the books for maybe next week to review it then. Okay, so we're striking number 6 from the agenda. Thank you, Peggy, for
Thank you,
pointing
Peggy.
that out earlier. Okay, number 7, K through 12 guidance plan. Ms. Platt.
Be it resolved that, upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education hereby approves the K-12 guidance plan for the 2021-2022 school year.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Any discussion?
I have a question, which is a question that could actually be very embarrassing for myself, but I'm going to ask anyway. The guidance plan, is this something that we typically do every year? No, it's
Fairly
new.
new. It was a new requirement last year, and it requires an annual review
Okay.
by the board. So it's not something that I would say we've done for a very long
Right.
time. This would only be the second year you're acting on it.
But we do typically do the, shoot. When do we usually, we have to approve?
Code of conduct?
Yes.
Code of conduct will be at the next meeting.
At the next meeting,
Yep.
okay, all right.
And we
I need-
debated whether we should do these all on the same
Yeah.
agenda or not.
Right,
Ultimately, we put one on this meeting, and you'll have code of
great.
conduct on.
Because
I should say you'll have code of conduct at the August meeting.
Sure.
Not, if we meet next week, it will not be on that
Right,
agenda.
okay, so that's helpful, because I looked at these, but it seemed, and is the expectation that these will also be approved every year? You
Correct.
said was last
Correct,
year, so it's
yes.
just,
That
so
was
it
a
will
new
be
law that was passed that required districts to develop a K-12 guidance plan, and it requires an annual review
Okay.
and adoption by the board.
Okay, for
And the
this.
edits that were included in this one were relatively minor.
Great, okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, any communication from the public? Any board reflections to share?
So Dr. Benante mentioned this in his comments, but I actually also want to acknowledge 2 things, like to walk in and see the halls full of the desks and the chairs, and to know how much work the maintenance staff does under the summer. We always thank them at the beginning of the school year, but it really is a reminder of how things just keep going here. And then I also have to say, walking into the building from the front and seeing them working on those elementary school windows made me so happy. Like, it's been years in the making. It's such an important project. It just, I guess there's been other aspects of the capital projects that we've implemented. I don't know why that one makes me particularly happy, and I haven't gotten as excited about, I don't know, like painting or, electrical work or whatever, but the windows and just sort of knowing how important they were. It's the years in process. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. It's great. And thanks to everybody who's working on it.
Yeah. I'll just take an extra moment to welcome Maggie to the board table.
Oh, yeah.
It is a pleasure to have you here. We welcome you to our team. So welcome.
Absolutely.
Okay, Dr. Benante, do you have any final thoughts?
None. Thank you, Jen.
Okay. Should we work out a possible meeting for next week
We are-
now, or should we do it via an email? Do you have an idea?
If now works for everybody, that'd be great.
Do you guys have a sense of your
I think I
schedule?
heard Sean say in the evening
Evening.
is better for him, on Monday or
Uh,
Tuesday.
On either Monday or Tuesday in the evening is fine.
It'll be like about a 10-minute meeting, I assume. What do you guys, do you have any preference? Monday you're not here, so Tuesday you are here.
And actually, I have flexibility during the day on Tuesday, too, if that's better for anybody. I actually do have flexibility.
Either
I
works
know.
for me.
Can we say Tuesday early, like 6 o'clock?
Yeah, that's.
Like what time?
6? Is that too early for you, Peggy?
Oh, no, that actually works. Yeah, we can't do it earlier than that?
I am busy till 5:30. I could be here like
Okay, all right.
5:45.
Okay, 6.
6. Okay, so we'll say 6 PM on Tuesday. What's the date? July
13th.
13th? John will... No, thank you, Cecilia. Oh, no, we'll be quick and uninteresting. Thank you. 6 PM on Tuesday here, for those of us who can be here. And then if anybody, don't bother calling in, it'll be brief. So we'll just be here.
Here or in the district office? Why don't we just meet in the district office?
Okay, district office.
Because we don't need to be recorded. It's,
Probably the public will not be needing to attend. And if so, they can crowd into Dr. Benante's office. Okay, district office, Tuesday the 13th at 6 PM. Got it?
Got it.
Okay, great, thanks. All right then, I would like to make a motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.